I'm grateful that Dr. Assad has agreed to have a press conference to speak directly to the community about the temporary closure. It was made clear that I'm here standing as a voice to and for the community, and Dr. Assad understands that what I hope to come from this press conference is a full understanding about why we are here at a temporary closure and how we plan to provide care for this community by reopening this hospital. It's been clear that in the press, I've often said that we're not sure if there's confidence in the current leadership of the hospital, and that the current leadership would have to prove that they're ready to move the hospital forward. I've been in constant communication with the president and CEO and the state of Illinois about the condition of the hospital. And as everyone knows, I've been working to try to secure and make sure that the community didn't lose the coverage and of this hospital, because it's a total reverse of what we've been trying to do in the community, and that is make sure that we have what you call access to health care. The closure of this hospital is a reversal of access to health care for this area. And so let me just say, talking to HFS, talking to the owner of the property, and talking to the current operator of the hospital, I would like to present some information about where the state has been and where the current owner is, and make sure that Dr. Assad has opportunity to share his comments about how he plans to make sure that this hospital is reopened and that the community has full confidence in his leadership. So thank you, Dr. Assad, for agreeing. This is very important that he's here. So talking to HFS, let the record reflect that HFS has given me the notes that they have provided $20 million advance payments for Resilience Healthcare in 2023 to alleviate financial pressures following the purchase from Pipeline. The repayment was supposed to be made in equal installments in 2024 and 2025. As of date, no repayments have been received. In January 2023, HFS also coordinated the early release of managed care access payments from managed care organizations to assist both hospitals, that's West Suburban and Weiss Hospital, in receiving funds in time for payroll. HFS also provided $10 million advance payment in April of 2025 to aid both hospitals, while both hospitals transitioned to a new electronic medical records. Repayment was supposed to begin August 2025. I'm told no repayment have been received. In July 2025, HFS offered Weiss and West Suburban Hospital a $5 million advance to allow further relief, to slow claims payments, claim payments during the EMR transition. I'm told that the decline due to the reluctance to sign on to the repayment terms. As of January 2026, West Suburban had a tax rear in excess of $50 million. With West Suburban signed a tax repayment agreement with HFS August 2025, which include terms with West Suburban, which start making the payments currently, monthly tax payments starting September 2025 onward, as well as beginning making payments against the back taxes in 2026. Neither have occurred. HFS further says that HFS initiated withholdings recoupments in December 25 pursuant to Public Act 104 0007 when West Suburban breached repayment terms and failed to pay the current taxes. Now, this is no surprise to anyone. Dr. Facade understands that there is a property tax owed, and I'm sure he's prepared to respond. West Suburban also continues to receive currently $130,000 in monthly state-directed payments funded by the tax after recoupments were made. West Suburban continues to receive Medicaid claim payments for services provided and add-on payments based on utilization. Now, the safety net supplemental program, we fought. There was a $5 million in state financial year 2022, 2023, 2024, and $3.7 million in 2025. The safety net add-on program offered a $2.1 million in the supplemental payment year 2025. So HFS has met repeatedly with West Suburban and offer operational assistance is what I'm told, and Dr. Facade could definitely verify that. Most recently, HFS provided a review of West Suburban operations and financial through a contractual financial consultant. This is what I'm told. I look forward to hearing. This is all new to me. Initial findings indicate West Suburban was in perilous financial situations with no cash reserves, declining patient volumes, and key leadership and financial roles unfilled and inadequately skilled, according to HFS. The review is not complete because West Suburban did not provide full transparency into West Suburban's financials or operations. So according to IDPH financials, IDPH provided the hospital health protection grants to West Suburban in FY24 in the sum of $3.4 million, and FY25, $6.4 million, and FY26, $3.9 million. IDPH has placed the West Suburban on a statewide stop payment list for failure to produce an independent audit financial statement since 2019. Now, patient safety. IDPH sent healthcare regulations and emergency medical service staff to monitor and collect information regarding the temporary closure of the facility throughout the week of March 23rd, 2026. Monitored closure procedures in accordance with the rules and regulations include daily meetings with leadership at the hospital, monitoring or appropriating staff level on all units where patients are housed until closed, monitor of the hospital census during the wind down, ensure documentation of patient transfer and destination homes where patients will be taken care of. On-site surveyors to monitor patient safety measures are being implemented during the closure. Reviewing patient transfer status and appropriate placements, coordinated with the health facilities and service review board to ensure consistency. And so there's so much more that IDPH is saying that they're doing to work with the leadership of the hospital. And so I will also note that this hospital has a debt when it comes down to the operations of the building. So there are a lot of outstanding debts to reopening the Suburban Hospital. One example is the current debt owed $71 million owed to the state of Illinois, $60 million owed to the former hospital owner Pipeline, $50 million current accounts payable owed. Outstanding property taxes are not paid. Outstanding mortgage payments have been placed both on West and West Suburban. And so that means that this hospital is in foreclosure and the taxes are being sold, so we have a problem. And so I'm standing here today with Dr. Facade because what I want more than anything is for us to have a plan to save this hospital. Dr. Facade has told me that he has a plan. So I'm here to make sure that he could give the confidence to this community and to the staff and the patients that depend on care by this hospital. Dr. Facade also has told me that he looks forward to having a community meeting to assure the community that he's the right person to manage this hospital and bring it back online. And so with that said, I think that Dr. Assad should take it from here and tell us his plan to reopen this hospital and make sure that patient safety is top of mind and top of service. Dr. Assad, thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. And actually, I was not privy to these notes. Otherwise, I would have given you a line-by-line, response to it. I already noticed several inaccuracies when it started. Before I jump into the plan and what we are all about. Okay. Here is, first let me tell you all just a little background, then I'll jump into this. Most of you are aware, some of you may not be aware, that in 2022, we had made a bid to acquire the hospitals. We went before the Hospital Facilities Review Board, and in June of 2022, we got approved to make that transition happen. Shortly thereafter, we saw the financials of the seller, and we realized, and more than me, my lenders realized, that the hospital was ready to, both the hospitals here and West Sub and Weiss was ready to file for bankruptcy. So we sort of backed out because the lender disappeared. So what landed up happening was, sure enough, in October of 2022, Pipeline Health filed for bankruptcy, and that included both these hospitals. With both these hospitals in bankruptcy, we could not participate because we didn't have a lender. So we backed away and we didn't participate. However, they held an auction. And in that auction, not one single proposal came forth that wanted to take it over or run the hospital. And finally and reluctantly, the bankruptcy court Pipeline told them that they had run out of DIP funds for these two hospitals. So finally, reluctantly, the bankruptcy court allowed them to announce a final closure of both these hospitals. The date was set to be end of December 2022. That's when over a period of time, I had made a lot of friends with some of the staff here when I was doing my diligence. And I was requested by several people, including a couple of the board members, to see if I could help because there were 1,800 jobs at stake and the community needed the hospital. Interestingly, nobody came forth even then. So I jumped in. I didn't have investors. I don't have lenders. So I jumped in to assume the operations of the hospital. And that was on 2nd of December of 2022. On 2nd of December 2022, Pipeline exited, and when they exited, all I was left with is almost, for this hospital, it was $60 million plus in debt, vendor debt that they owed. This is not institutional debt, vendor debt that they owed, and empty bank accounts, and even our drug purchasing accounts had all been canceled. For a hospital to set up a drug purchasing account takes almost 3 months, if you expedite it, a month and a half. We had patients in beds. We came in, we took it over, and we borrowed from other hospitals for drugs because you can't go to Walgreens and grab some drugs you need. And later on, we repaid them, of course. So we started off that way. In the whole hospital, there was one functioning ultrasound machine in a hospital this size. Many critical drugs were missing. We had a lot of equipment that was held together with duct tape. Of course, the infrastructure had not been taken care of for many years, so they were past, end of life by many years. So we inherited all that. This was not something that we did by choice. When we were doing it by choice, we had lenders to help. In this one, we did not. 30 days later, my landlord, Ramco, came and they tried to acquire the property, separate from the operating entity. He could not get financing. So he went and asked Pipeline Health to get a seller's note. So Pipeline Health gave him a seller's note for $67 million, which is what we talked about in a minute ago, of which $30 million belongs to the operating entity, because under contract, the operating entity is owed $30 million. So they said, okay, as soon as we get the $67 million back from Ramco, we'll give you $30 million. It's in contract, nothing that I'm dreaming up or making up. In order to let Mr. Reddy and Ramco acquire the property, they needed the hospital to co-sign it because apparently they didn't believe that he had the wherewithal to do it. So the hospital, even though did not get any part of the real estate, became a signer in that note. That's what the $69 million is, $67 million is all about. In reality, it is $37 million. The rest 37 belongs to the operating entity, and we are somebody who just co-signed to help him acquire, the real estate. We entered into a lease, which is absolutely, it's a 30-year lease. We are abiding by terms of the lease. In fact, we've gone over and beyond what the lease calls for. We have been making repairs, etc., from our, from our operations for things that a typical landlord does. Which, hey, the idea is that we need to provide service. So if they can't, we will. I'm happy to do that. So that whole thing about we owe $69 million to somebody, that's what the story is. We don't. We didn't benefit from it. And we simply were being good Samaritans and co-signed a note that Ramco owns. And they were not able to refinance and pay that loan back. Now comes when we first started, because we didn't have any lenders or any investors. I got a very nice call from the governor's office. There was a deputy governor who welcomed us and thanked me for saving the hospital from certain closure. And then I told her, hey, here is this 60 plus million here and 20 plus million, I believe, at Weiss, debt. And that was to every vendor known to us in the industry. I wasn't sure how we were going to move forward because obviously they're not going to provide service. So she was very kind and said, you know what, why don't we put an advance so that you guys can pay this down? And I said, look, it's not going to be something that I can pay down and return to you, because obviously if this money I'm going to use to pay the vendors, there's no coming back. And it was, they said we'll structure it as a repayment. Obviously there has been changes in the office, and now suddenly HFS or IDPH believes that we should repay it. We were all, and I have brought it up several times to HFS and before, saying, hey, that's still out there, but we have used it because that 60 plus million in debt here, we were able to bring it down by a third already in the first 2 years we operated. This is hospital along with Weiss, but let's talk about this hospital. Oh, by the way, that money was loaned to Resilience Health for both hospitals. Weiss Memorial has always lost money for a long time. That year they lost almost 30 million. This hospital had 28 or 30 million in losses as well. When we took over in December of 2022, they posted, I believe, a $40 million loss. The first operating year that we did, we operated 2023, and then 2024, we managed to come to near break even. How did we do that? We reduced the vendor debt. We went into an austerity plan. So we eliminated a lot of waste from the system. There was a lot of waste happening. Everybody thought, oh yeah, this is the good old days. They were spending like there was no tomorrow. Well, apparently there was a tomorrow. So we did eliminate that. And we continued to operate. We actually, we were close to break even despite everything happening. We got, instead of being cash on delivery, we started getting terms with our vendors. And we had been diligently taking care of whatever needed. We used some of the grant money that we got. By the way, the first year grant dollars, some of it Pipeline already got and took with them. We didn't get a dime from it. So it's not quite true to say, hey, all of that came to us. But when we took over, we came towards the end of the year. So we did get some grant funds. We used that because I'll tell you, for example, and please don't laugh at me, we had I mean, I'm not kidding about, we had stretchers and gurneys that were duct taped. We had things like patient monitors. Cables were being duct taped so that it would still function. We went and bought 100 brand new, what is called Hill-Rom beds. We bought about 200 mattresses because mattresses are a good source of infection. Once a patient sleeps on it, even if you deep clean it, next person there can attract things. They were being duct taped to prevent that. We replaced those. We bought 100 new monitors because if you can't monitor a patient, what are you doing? Reliably, I mean. We bought ultrasound machines, or we leased them, or whatever, so we had enough of those. We had fluoroscope, X-ray equipment where things move continuously, fluoroscopic equipment. My orthopedic, out here, you know, we have some celebrated orthopedic surgeons. They were working with systems that halfway through the surgery might stop and they have to restart. We replaced the entire power supply and the whole thing. We had, of course, labor and delivery. We had, trouble keeping moms and newborns warm. They were using piles and piles of what you call blankets, warmers. We got a whole infant warming system. We went through the hospital slowly and steadily. We went and got and then of course the HVAC system. Our chillers were almost dead. We were able to replace them, so we have newer chillers. By the way, just to let you guys know, I think I've said this before, we have a network of 17 air handler units that supply the whole hospital. Remember, this building is 113 or 114 years old now. It came online in 1914, but it was inaugurated in 1913. So it's over that period of time. So that's when a lot of things were built. It has been kept up for a while, but then, as you all know, there was a whole, revolving door of owners. We had Pipeline. Pipeline bought it from Tenet. Tenet. Tenet bought it from Vanguard. Vanguard. It just kept going. So when people are exiting any area, they're not going to spend time and money on upkeep and upgrading. They put band-aids to keep it working. To their credit, it seemed to work. But then the problem is that it has to end. I am not somebody who would, kick the can down the road. I'm here to serve, and I'm here to stay. So what we did was, even though we didn't have adequate grant funds, and I'll tell you something, despite all these glowing things that HFS claims they have done in IDPH, think about it. Hospitals, one-third our size, get 18, 20, $25 million in safety net grants, whereas we get $4 million out of the 4 that Weiss was supposed to get. That got recouped. So we didn't even get that. We have some what is called the DCEO grants for 3 years. It still hasn't been funded. So a lot of things look great on paper with repayment plans and everything there. Yes, understand this. The bed tax, which is being recouped, which made headlines. By the way, that is true for about 10 safety net hospitals in the area. Somehow I didn't see you guys put anybody else's name. We are the ones, the famous favorite punching bag. There are several hospitals, all of us went and protested. And these are all safety nets. We take care of so many, like the underinsured and uninsured. And paying the bed tax is definitely very low down in our priority list. I'll be very candid about it because, look, I'd rather provide service than be paying these tax. Guess what the bed tax is? Bed tax is the number of occupied beds I have. I have occupied beds. At any given time, we have 67% of my patients are Medicaid. I'm not getting paid for most of them. And I'd rather keep them there and take care of the patients than be paying the tax. I know I should pay tax.
Dr. Prasad, if you could just kind of fast forward.
Yes, ma'am.
All of us who've been covering this understand.
You know it, okay.
That there was a debt
Okay.
and there have been problems. Let's talk about the solution and the
Yes,
plan
ma'am.
that you're talking about to continue to serve this community.
Absolutely, be my pleasure. Just one thing that I do want to point out before I jump there that most of you are not aware of. We've had patients here in beds for over a decade and a half. State should have taken them, they didn't. County should have taken them, nobody did. We had another patient who was here more than 5 years. We have, since nobody would take, We have been taking good care of them.
How many patients did you have like that?
2 patients, one for 15
Okay.
or 12 plus years and one for 6 plus years.
So then the plan to try and help patients and people in this community?
We do. Now I'm coming to
Talk
that.
about that? Thank you.
Sure, absolutely. Now what happens is okay, so till 2024 and part of 2025, we were cruising along. We had revenues, we were able to pay down or make all payments, etc. By the way, we were using a system that came from the previous operators. We were paying almost $500,000 a month to keep using it, which we did. Then it was announced to us that in the end of 2024, that system will no longer be available to us.
Sir, what system are you referring to? The billing system?
The billing, electronic medical, sorry. Yeah, the EMR and the billing system would not be available to us anymore.
Company? EMR, you said? What was the EMR?
Do you want to bash them up? Okay, we were using Cerner Millennium. It was an old antiquated system that Pipeline had kindly let us use. They would not be renewing it and upgrading it. And the federal government would not accept data coming out of it.
Sir, before you get into more of the background when it comes to the finances, can you talk about the solution? You already have said that you want to be able to reopen this hospital by June. How do you plan
I'm just
on
coming
doing
to that. That's where I'm going. So that system would no longer available to us. They offered a system that they were already using in another hospital, and they said they're going to go ahead and get it customized. They are also going to install it for us and test it so we can go live. That happened on 24th of March 2025. From that day onwards, for the first 40 days, I could not generate a single billing claim because the system would not generate one. Okay.
Let me help you. Let's pivot right now into Darius and Hope's point. What the community and everyone wants is you to give confidence that you could move forward.
Okay.
How do we do that moving forward?
Absolutely. Hey, to give confidence, let me ask you a question. How many people do you know who can come into a bankrupt hospital with nothing in the bank and keep it running for 3.5 years? Nobody did. But anyway, coming forward, what the plan is. So for 1 year, just from that point to 1 year, that was 3 days ago, because of the system malfunctions, we were able to collect only 10%, a little over 10% of what our normal revenues are. So this hospital, because of the amazing team we have, has survived on 10 to 12% of what our normal revenues are. Where are we going? And again, this plays into what the plan is. The vendor, to their credit, they brought in experts. They brought in another company that excels in doing revenue cycle, just on an off chance we don't know what we are doing.
Sir, can you give names? You're referring a lot of generalities, and there's not.
Okay, I'm trying not to. Okay.
I think names.
Yeah, so it is called Paragon.
And let me just add, and I know you've got a lot of folks coming at you all at the same time, and we certainly appreciate that. But I think what most folks want to know, people who have been utilizing the hospital, when will it reopen?
Yes.
Can they get people?
Oh, do you want fast forward? I'll fast forward. I'm looking at July, early July to reopen. I'll tell you how. Is that okay?
And then that's the plan. Yeah, so you look at, and
that's where I'm going. Right. So that's what I was, that's the only thing I was mentioning is we have survived on that little money. And what we have, all these experts were not able to figure it out because of one simple reason. The problem we finally was able to diagnose is, the problem is with the charge capture. Now, revenue cycle has 2 components. There's a charge capture, so if you capture the charges correctly, you can bill for it, and if your billing is not good, 10 different companies can come in and help. Our billing thing was fine. We discovered that for some strange reason, we were not able to capture charges. For example, you come into my emergency room, and you then get transferred to my ICU. All those emergency room charges were vanishing. We did not know why.
Yeah, how long was that going on?
1 whole year.
Okay.
That is about 120,000 claims. Same thing.
How much money did you owe?
Yeah, fine. Come. Yeah, I know you're in a rush.
They're not in a rush.
Okay, so I'm coming to it. I'm not going to take up too much of your time. The other part, but I need you to know this so you understand.
You want us to understand the background.
Yeah, what is it?
I totally get it.
Same thing about, we had a very good cancer center, we have. And for 1 whole year, chemotherapy drugs are the costliest drugs there are.
Yes.
Okay, we spend about $150,000 a week buying chemotherapy drugs for them. Not one chemotherapy drug crossed over to the payer. So we have not been paid for exactly 1 year and 4 days now. Same thing. You will come for implant. We do a lot of orthopedic work, as you know. When they put in an implant, that's the most expensive part of the surgery. Not one single implant got billed. It looked like it was. My nurses did fabulous work. They put it in. The system, when it sends to the payers, those things vanished. So there's no way for an outsider to figure that out because they don't know the whole process. We were able to figure it out. So what I did was 4 weeks ago, I put in place, which is why I'm confident of the opening. 4 weeks ago, I put in place a system. Again, don't go by my age. But in the olden days, we used to use a paper charge ticket for everything we did. So the whole hospital, despite having an EMR, in addition to the EMR, we put in a paper charge ticket system. So that has started capturing, and we saw the big gaps. I'll tell you, we just did 2 weeks worth of chemotherapy drugs. That was literally millions of dollars.
So Dr. Assad, can we just do, let's get to the, you've given us, please outline why the hospital got to the point of closure.
Okay.
Which is great. And then how you plan to make sure that we don't have that problem anymore.
Okay. Your question is, why didn't I figure it out earlier?
Why did it take a year for you to start this?
Okay. 2 reasons. Number one, the vendor was making every attempt to bring in experts to fix it. Number two, they couldn't figure out what was wrong. They honestly came, if you run an ED report, it says so many patients came. They couldn't figure out why, and they did not know that those charges were not making it to the payer. On their system, it shows that it's there. They could not figure out why the payer was not receiving it. So it took a lot of detective work to figure this out. Fortunately, I have done revenue cycle work in my past life. So I could finally figure it out and said, oh my God, this is what's missing. All my drug charges were missing, not just chemotherapy. There's a block. So now we finally put it in because look, think about it. In this day and age, if you talk about paper charges and paper charts, people look like you, at you like you have 2 heads. But we've adopted it. And we have a lot of younger people who work, so it took them a while, but we adopted.
Are you able to reclaim that money
Yes,
from the
ma'am.
payers? Is that part of the plan?
That's what we are doing is the 120,000 claims.
Yeah.
Right now, I've got a team of about 110 people, just working each one going backwards. And we are going to be able to reclaim all of that.
How much do you think that would mean?
I don't want to give out numbers, but it's, I mean,
Was there hundreds of millions?
of actual cash coming in or charges. Charges, hundreds of millions, yes. Cash coming in, you know, you get a fraction of what you charge. So yes, it is huge. Enough to keep the hospital operating comfortably going forward. That is why I'm projecting that by end of June, I should have collected enough to get, here is my thing. I want to make sure I've always, right from the word go, I've always want to make sure that I have at least 4 or 5 payrolls saved somewhere. Because I don't want us to work and have our employees have a payless payday. So I want to have enough of a reserve, which I had built up, which is the only reason we are still around. And I want to make sure we have enough operating cash to move this place forward. In the meantime, I saw the statement yesterday. The vendor has said they're going to come and work outside the box to make it happen. I have actually just yesterday found 2 specialists who understand the system. They don't work for the vendor. They understand the system, and they're coming this afternoon to meet me.
Now, this is now the 3rd time you've made such a promise. You made a promise with the residency program. You made the promise with Weiss, and now you're making it West Suburban.
All of those are valid, by the way.
But it still hasn't came to
Yeah.
be. Why should the community trust you in this moment?
Very good question. Number one, Weiss is still under appeal. We have not abandoned it. I don't intend to abandon it. So Weiss is still going as promised. With the residency program, we have the applications ready. Again, it's a financially driven thing. If I can't commit enough resources to it, I can't start something and then same thing, like you've missed one. OB, even though it's a money loser, it's near and dear to my heart. And it is my intent to reopen it because where are mothers and babies going to be going? So it is my intent to be doing all of that, but it needs funds. If the state can actually, stop recouping this bed tax and do some help, I can do things faster. If
you
not,
mentioned that you have 110 people working on trying to resubmit these claims.
Yes.
I have a question
Yes.
about who is actually still here? Because we're hearing about patients who, whether it's chemo or whether it's another type of, treatment, they can't get their records.
Oh.
Who is here, and what would you say to patients
Good
who
question.
are trying to get their records?
I have a team working full-time to release records. We have it on our website as well. You can do it by email, you can do it by phone, or you can actually walk in and fill out a form, and the records are being made available immediately within a few days.
That's not what I'm hearing.
I know, but if you have a specific, you tell me. Some of my team members are right here. They're doing an amazing job doing it.
Can you name one of your key team members?
Or who, or
Name one person.
Who's in charge? My Vice President, Dr. Pakrashi.
Dr.
She's got the whole
Pakrashi,
thing.
can you talk a little bit about how you would recommend patients get their records or get information? And please move over here because we won't be able to hear you in the corner there.
Can you also spell your name?
Yeah, just make sure we get all of that right. So you're kind of put on the spot here. Is that
Yeah.
too high for her?
No, I think I'm good. Thank you. If you all can hear me.
Very good. And what's your name? Sorry.
My name is Dr. Pakrashi, P as in Peter, A as in Alpha, K as in Kangaroo, R as in Roger, A as in Alpha, S as in Sam's, H as in Hotel, and I as in India.
What was your first name?
Dr. Shubha Mitra Pakrashi.
Shiva?
I go by Shubha, SHUBBA.
BBA. And your title here?
I'm the VP of Quality Informatics, IT, HIM, Case Management.
Okay. And so what would you say to patients who they're trying to continue treatment or get referrals? What would you say to them about getting their records and documents? Because I've heard they've made calls, they've left messages, they've emailed, and they've gotten no response. What would you say to patients trying to get that information?
Exactly. We have everything mentioned in our website. We have email address. I have my entire HIM team working. They escorted you also. So my team, can you please raise your hand back there, my HIM team?
I didn't see it.
How many people you have on staff for medical records?
6 people?
6 people.
6 people working on medical records?
Yes, ma'am.
What's your timeline in terms of getting people the records, or is there any prioritization because some people might be in the middle of some life-saving treatments?
So we normally tell people, because it takes time, we have a lot of areas to go. We go to Cerner, we go to Phobia and all of that to collect these. And it takes 7 to 10 business days that we have mentioned. However, you can call in and tell us your emergency. We provide it to you on the site and on the spot. We have even emailed you. So my team is constantly checking. There is a common email that is medicalrecords@westsubmc.com. And you can put in a request. If you say it's urgent, we make sure we give it to you. And my team is diligently working, and I take care personally. I work with them. I make sure that we give the records to people.
I'm so sorry. That's not what I'm hearing.
I'm sorry if you're not hearing that, because my team is there. I'm not going to say that I'm doing it and my team is not here. My team can also talk about it. They can tell you what they are doing. So if you think that's not, because I can't control. I can only say what I'm doing, and yes, I'm doing it with my team. If people saying something else, then I think you need to also talk to my team. Are they not doing it? And they can also tell you if they're doing or not. Now, if you don't trust any of us, then it's a
So will
problem.
you be talking to your team moving forward, hearing this feedback that the patients have called?
Yeah, they
and
can
left
also
messages?
hear it right away because they're just standing at the door. They can hear it and they can say for themselves that we make sure that we give you everything. Now, if everyone wants it, we have to check the priority, like how important it is, because if you have a surgery coming up, you need it, we make sure that we give it to you.
Can you guys tell us how the charges got turned off in the first place?
Okay, go ahead. I'll let you do that.
Because I feel like I still don't understand that. So you discovered that there was a problem and
Yes.
you weren't collecting this money.
Correct.
But how did it happen in the first place?
The system was set up and put in place and tested by Pipeline. And when they tested it and gave us the thumbs up, we started using it. They could not figure out how the charges were not getting through. It was because on the system, it looks like it's there. Here is how it happens. There's a 3-stage process. In the system, you have an initial scrubber or editor, you fix it. Then there is another claims management scrubber, editor, you fix it. Then it goes to a clearinghouse that pushes it out. The problem was when it gets transmitted out from that to the clearinghouse, it somehow disappears. For example, every drug has what is called an NDC code, the National Drug Database Code. Now, if it is not in the right box, all claims will be denied. For whatever reason, when it went from that to the clearinghouse, that went to a wrong box. Another thing that was happening, suddenly all the doctors' sex was being changed. They all became male and their NPIs were wrong, their DAs were getting replaced. This was a system malfunction that kept occurring over and over again, and they kept thinking it was user error. So they brought in a specialty company of their own that does just this and said, hey, step aside, we'll show you how to do it. 2 weeks later, they were gone because it was having the same result.
What do you say to patients about what it's like to have a system malfunction that affects their treatment?
Luckily, we had no treatment-related issue. We had issues where we had to write manual prescriptions for a while, but their treatment wasn't the issue. The issue was on the billing and collection side, which is the toughest.
But now they're not able to come, I guess is what I'm saying.
Oh, I see what. Yeah, it has resulted in that. I can tell you for a fact, it has resulted in what happened at Weiss because we didn't have money that we were collecting to fix the systems in time. So it has caused a lot of problems. Yeah, absolutely.
What are your thoughts about this discussion of Insight taking over operations?
Okay. I don't know. I have not heard a word from Insight, number one. Number two, it's, there's a whole process if you even want to consider doing that. My question to them was, why didn't they take it in 2022 when it was available? They were in the market. But suddenly out of the blue, and then again looking at the AHD records, public records available, they themselves are struggling. I mean, they have lost, I think, 30 million last year, 28, whatever the reports are. So, and we are at least twice the size in terms of the census and all that. So I'm not quite certain how they were going to do it and how they got involved in the first place, because my landlord has absolutely no authority to be talking about operations to anybody. So yeah, I keep hearing that it gets stronger. Apparently there was a public meeting about it too. Excepting how do you do that? I mean, you don't just walk in and say, hey, I'm coming here, I'm taking it over. There's a whole process that goes through the state hospital facilities board, and it's a very long, elaborate process.
Dr. Prasad, just why not let Insight take over? Why do you continue to stay on when there have been so many problems and you're saying you're inherited all of this debt and all these problems?
Yeah.
Why not let someone deal with this?
Okay, fair question. Let me tell you this. I think it goes back to why the heck did I jump into it in the first place when there was no funds available? I wanted to keep this place open. I've got 12 years parochial schooling, so I am a servant leader and I'm here to serve. It's not about all of this, and I'm here to make this thing happen. Think about it. Without any resources, our whole team, it's not just me, the whole team managed to keep this working well for 2.5 years. It's the last 1 year we have struggled.
So if Insight says, you know what, we have the resources, we have a plan, we can do this better, why not let someone else take over?
No, my question is, why should I? I mean, it's like I walk into somebody else's thing and I say, hey, Rush, I can run you better than you can. Does that mean Rush should say, hey, come take me over? They're a different entity. They have a different hospital that they're running.
But if your aim is service.
My aim is service, and I'm the one providing service. I don't want to, I mean, hey.
There's no service.
The
hospital's closed.
And they can't come in tomorrow and take it over either. Please understand that. It's a long process. They can't just walk in and say, I'm coming to take it over.
Of course.
We'll be open long before that.
Rapport, what is the status of conversations that you're involved with Insight?
Oh, Insight claimed that they want to help. They say that they want to come in and help, but it's a process, as Dr. Assad said, for them to come in. But they want to take over. They think that he should disappear and they should just come and be in charge of the hospital.
Do you think that should happen then?
I think that we need to get the best and highly qualified management owner of this hospital here to open, and that's why.
Insight directly report?
Can we wait?
Have you talked to Insight directly?
I talked to. Yes.
And who have you talked to there?
The board, some of the board members, and the president of the hospital.
So would you
and
rather?
How serious do you think they are about actually coming in?
I think that they're very serious about coming in, but they also said that they have no idea of the books and the condition of the hospital, but they are interested in coming to the table to possibly take over.
This would be a change of ownership
change of
Which would
ownership.
then necessitate the entire state process through the, whatever the state facilities board is called, is that right?
Yeah, that's where Dr. Saad is saying that it's not gonna it wouldn't happen right away. If they came in and probably brought an infusion of cash or something to help, that could probably be different.
Well, Sean,
So what do you
let me
think would
confirm
be the
something that you
best-
said earlier. You had some figures that were really stunning. 71 million, 60 million, and 50 million. Those
Yeah.
are outstanding obligations that the hospital has above and beyond the growing obligations that it has. $181 million. I mean, how does that get addressed?
That's why we're here, and that's why I'm grateful that the owner of this hospital is here to tell us exactly how he plans to climb out of debt, reopen, and provide high-quality health care for patient safety. I have no idea. I'm grateful that he's here to give us the answers.
Okay, but you, let's take one at a time.
So the end of June comes around and, you know, I guess the deadline, right, for you to be able to open
No,
up?
there's no deadline. Why do you think? It's my projected date by when we should be able to be where we want to be. End of June, early July.
So if that date comes around, here we are at end of June, early July, and you're still not able to open, what's gonna happen then?
We still have, we have the time to do it right, because I don't want to get into a situation where we have a repeat of what happened. So I'm going to make darn sure we have been working nonstop for 3.5 years. We are not going to let that, all that effort and everything go away.
You yourself, though, said earlier, sir.
Yeah.
Please,
Go ahead.
please take this the right way. You have to choose between paying the taxes, $30 million in taxes, or paying daily bills here. You're not going to pay the taxes.
I will. I didn't say I will not.
Yes, you did. Yeah,
No,
it's
no.
on tape.
That's what we did. That's how, not just me, 10 other hospitals, safety nets had the same issue.
Okay.
And they're still not able to pay, by
Concerned
the
about
way.
this hospital.
I'm talking about it. So let me tell you, and this is not other taxes. This is a bed tax which funds safety nets. So it's a little bit different there that and that again suddenly recently became a huge issue. It was sliding for years for all these hospitals. Pipeline had not been paying it. Vista, those hospitals have not paid it. So that is not the highest priority, and I have already offered that we can work with HFS, come into a long-term plan.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but do you understand how, when you're standing here talking about getting the confidence of the community, and you just said to all of us, taxes aren't the highest priority. People lose their homes because they don't make taxes.
This is not property tax. Please understand.
I understand, but there are obligations that the hospital has that my Representative Ford, $181 million above and beyond everything else.
So is somebody else coming and paying that? Is that a solution that is?
Do you have a realistic?
Yes.
Do you have a realistic plan?
Yes.
To pay $181 million in obligations?
It's not 181. Please hold it. Your math is
Well,
not quite there.
You should talk.
Yeah, so let me talk about it.
All right,
I'm happy to talk.
So we have 71 million owed to the state of Illinois, 60 million.
Wait a minute. 71 is not from this hospital.
Right, but this is where.
That's from Weiss
Right. Okay.
and here. So
Okay.
we are talking about one hospital.
Okay.
Okay.
So this
how
is
much
where,
is
let's get the numbers right.
48 or something.
This hospital owes 48 million to the state?
Bed taxes, yes.
There is a property tax problem as well that we
We are
have to
current on
address.
property tax, just this recent one has to be paid.
Yeah, the owner.
Last year
of
we
the
paid
property-
$9 million. The year before, last year we paid $8.5 million in property taxes. The year prior to that we paid $7.5, and the year prior to that we've been paying taxes. The current taxes are delayed.
Yeah,
Yes.
so the current owner, you're not the owner,
No, no.
he claims that the property not only is in foreclosure, but he's also concerned that the property will be lost to the taxes because.
Was the owner,
He's
did you
considered.
talk to the
I talked
property
to-
owner?
Yes.
And
Yes.
was he involved in the conversations with Insight?
I don't know if he was. I just make sure that I try to connect the dots with whether or not the relationship is here and if he's in support of Dr. Assad opening and maintaining the hospital. His point is, as long as he could get the mortgage paid, as long as he could get the property taxes paid, he's in support of the hospital being open with this leadership, but he doesn't have understanding how that's going to happen.
And is there a next step forward with Insight from your side?
Insight should come and meet with the current operator of this hospital
Dr. Assad, you don't sound like you're open to meeting with Insight.
I'm open to meeting with the whole world. I have no issues meeting with them. But what they can do is rather limited. And let me just tell you this. I mean, there is no mortgage that the hospital has. The hospital has a 30-year lease that we are abiding by. The mortgage is for the property owner, not me. I was, not me personally, but the hospital, guaranteed his performance. And that's a very different animal. So we are not.
Did you have a relationship with Mr. Reddy prior to this property deal?
He was somebody who was an operator, a real estate investor. So his interest was always real estate.
Have you known him over a period of years or not?
I'd met him socially a few times, never worked with him. So that's how we came together.
What's the status of the lawsuit pending between Pipeline and Resilience?
I'd better not quote the judge, but they said, obviously you can't shut down a hospital, so you guys figure it out. Now it turns out that we don't actually owe that much, and there's a whole lot of legal stuff happening. So, we actually are not people, the ones who are actually on the hook for that.
Yeah, let's go to.
So let's, sorry.
Yeah, Mr. Forte, so can the state help with this property tax relief? Is there something that you can do? Can the state?
That's why I've been talking with the Department of the IDPH. They're ready to do what they can with and HFS to support a strong management company, management of operations. If it's Dr. Assad or if it's somebody, we're meeting with leadership in Springfield with the governor's office. There's concern about the current leadership. And I've told that to Dr. Assad. He has the obligation to prove himself to the people in the community and to the state. He's here to make that case. The state is ready to hold the hospital and the president and CEO accountable for patient safety. So you have your work cut out for you. Right here.
Are you confident that this hospital can reopen this summer, based on everything you've heard?
I'm not confident yet. I don't think Dr. Assad is confident yet that he could reopen it. I think that we have a lot of work to do to open this hospital back. I think that when you listen to Dr. Assad and his statements and what I've heard and from the meetings that I've had, it's a hope that we get the recoup of dollars. There has to be some type of infusion of money to reopen this hospital. And if we don't get some infusion, I don't know how you're going to open it, and you don't know either, right?
Representative Horst,
Leah?
who do you think would be best to reopen this facility and continue services for the people in this community? Who do you think would be
I'm
best?
glad you asked that way because it's not up to me. I think the community should be involved in making that decision. And I'm grateful that Dr. Assad has said that he's going to have community meetings and he's going to gain the trust, whether it's him. And if he's not the choice of the community, I'll ask that he step aside so that we get someone that is going to have the confidence of the community to reopen this hospital and to provide patient safety.
And when are those community meetings? You mentioned that.
2 weeks, you said.
No, not yet.
Right.
We are going to have to, first we have our work cut out so I can get some real solid dates and real progress on what we are doing. I don't want to just, I just don't want to keep making, a projection dates. And let me ask you this a few times. I know I've been saying this. Okay, we have already proven ourselves. We have come in when nobody would even touch this place. We have kept it up and running for 3.5 years. Tell me who else did. Not one person came forth to even make a $1 claim for the whole place. Forget everything else.
Tell us how many jobs are currently impacted? How many of your employees might be watching this and are
absolutely.
hearing your talk and worried
Sure.
about their future?
I would, essentially everybody, should worry about the future. We had a total of 751 souls working here, of which 137 were only people who are registry, who we would call if needed. So the rest of them were furloughed, excepting about 50 people who are in the building working today. These are the medical records people, the finance people, and others working on the billing. And
110 people working on billing.
110, no, there's 110 off-site who are working on the billing, but in the build.
Are they employees?
They are not employees. They are contracted. They have been working with us from day one. It's a separate billing company.
Right, I understand. What's the name?
It's called Ebotics.
Is that,
Yeah,
is that in the area or is that overseas?
that's overseas.
I'm
Most
assuming
of the
people
hospitals
in the
use
building?
overseas. I'm sorry?
Only 50 employees in the building?
There's only 50 employees working in the building.
And I just want to make sure we get the number right. You said
We have 0
700?
patients. We
No,
don't
I know,
have.
but how many do you normally serve?
Normally, I serve about 75 to 80 who come in the ED every day, and we have about 75 to 80 in beds.
So if you
On a
reopen
daily
in
basis.
July,
Yeah,
all of these staff members who have left are going to be looking for new jobs elsewhere.
they are furloughed. That means they are collecting unemployment and getting benefits from us. Some of them will, but then there are other applicants who are looking to come in. So when we reopen, we are going to do a phased reopening. And by the way, for me, it's not just a hope. We have done it before. We have shown that this can be done. And I mean, we basically snatched that from everybody. I know that Thanksgiving Day, when everybody was like wondering what Thanksgiving we are closing in 6 weeks. We have done it, and we have led it for 3.5 years.
Hey,
So-
Reverend, can you also, can you tell us, have you heard from patients? I mean, have they contacted your office? Have you heard kind of the impact of the hospital closing?
Oh, you know, this is a historic hospital, and I hear from families and patients that rely on this service. And it's very important to note that this hospital closure has had an impact on the healthcare delivery services in the neighborhood. That's why I'm here, to make sure that it's clear that I understand and I hear from the community that there is a void. And there are pressures on Rush, there's pressures on Loretto Hospital because of the closure here. This hospital has provided urgent and immediate care in the ED for gunshot victims, for overdose victims, and there's a big void. I am very happy that you're here to answer these questions, but we have to get the confidence that you're going to be able to open.
Representative Ford, I've got a question real quick for you. As upsetting as it is that the hospital closed, he followed the law. Like, the law says if you are going to temporarily suspend patient services, you just have to write a letter within 30 days of closing. Is that okay with you, that the law is set up that a hospital as critical as this can just close, can indefinitely, temporarily close?
That is, I think that proved that we have to improve state statutes, because so many lives were put at risk because of the closure of the hospital like that. I think that transferring the people to different hospitals, making sure that we're able to get people transferred for the care that they needed, I think it's an opportunity for us to improve the hospital safety statute in Illinois.
What would that look like?
Do you feel that this is, it would be appropriate to have a formal investigation, after action, to find out exactly what went wrong, when it went wrong, how it went wrong?
Yeah, we actually have a lineup, and there's nothing wrong with an audit to make sure that there's an investigation. I think that it helps everyone stabilize the hospital and build back better. There has to be an understanding of where the state fell short, where the hospital fell short, and how the state could better help hospitals, safety net hospitals in Illinois. There has to be some, right now, being able to close a hospital down in a matter of hours is not good for patient safety. He followed the law, and so I think it's on the state to make sure that, one, that there's monitoring of the financials of a hospital to know even before the hospital closes that there is an immediate assistance or takeover. There's something wrong with the state allowing for a hospital to have that type of ability to shut down with that loophole,
So
and it should be
example would
fixed.
be like a requirement to send a financial audit every year to the state to keep an eye on it, to prevent this from happening.
One thing about it, I don't have the exact solution, but it shouldn't be able to happen the way it is allowed in law today. And I think that we will learn from this. But, I'm grateful that the transfer of patients were successful. And I talked to Dr. Assad about medical records yesterday, and that was a concern of mine, that we were able to make sure that people are able to get their medical records when asked, because that has been something that people have talked about.
IDPH was in
27th, Friday.
Friday the
Friday was the
27th.
last day?
Yes.
And when did you announce and when did you close the doors?
Friday, okay, sorry, Friday the 27th. Okay, now, and also to more of your point. First, I have a question and then an answer for you. What would have happened when in 2022 this place was closed?
What do you mean?
2022 this place was going to be closed.
Right.
What would have happened then?
Nothing.
Okay,
Yeah.
exactly. So, and remember, Westlake is down the street. It has closed in 2019. What's happened with that?
Yeah, there's no teeth. The hospital facilities board were describing when Mercy, same thing with Mercy, when Mercy was closing.
Yeah.
There was no
Okay.
discipline, there was no
Okay.
process to hold owners like yourself
Yeah.
accountable for when hospitals are closing.
Exactly.
So yes, it would have just closed, but
Uh-huh.
that's not okay.
And that would have credited it. So I guess I don't get credit for coming in and saving the community's assets.
No, you're a big guy. Don't worry about
No,
credit.
I'm just
we ain't
talking
worried
about-
about credit. You
No,
say
no, I'm
what we
talking about
want
the
to
law.
do is make sure that
Hey.
we have the ability to reopen. You get the credit because you open it, but right now the concern is patient care
Okay.
and patient safety.
Yeah.
Let's focus only on the fact that we need to
Come to you.
reopen the hospital with the right
No,
plan
I'm
and safety.
I'm
top of
totally
mind. I
on
think
board
we
with
wanna
it.
go right here.
Wait, my
Oh,
question
yes.
never got answered.
No, I'm coming to you, and I also had
yeah.
one thing for him before I went. I mean, the thing is, for several months, I have been writing to the agencies, to the lawmakers, telling them exactly what's happening. I have provided them financials. They had a consultant come in and look at everything. And we said, here is what has happened. We need a short-term bridge. We did not hold anything. We did not hide anything. We told them the precarious state it is, and I did tell them letter after letter, hey, if we can get something, I was only asking for bridge for 6 months or 3 months or whatever they could do, and defer my recoupment of taxes by a few months. The law allows you to do that. And that did not happen for whatever reason, and I'm not going to blame anybody. But the thing is that it was not sudden and it was not a surprise. I have been telling the medical staff, all my employees and colleagues here for months, here is where we are with our problem. Here is how we are living on 10% of the, of the revenue, and here is what we are doing.
He has emailed me. He has emailed me, and I've emailed the state regulators about the need for cash infusion. That's a fact. But the fact is, it didn't happen. The hospital is closed. You have to have the ability to. People depend on us.
And I
so
do
we
want
need
to
make
mention
sure-
something else
Yes.
for him. For 6 years before we came on, hospital never had an audit. When I asked for an audited financials, they could not produce one. That is the reason why I finally got it after I got approval. And then I saw it and said, look, your balance sheet looks like you are going to go for bankruptcy, which they denied. I have already started, we did the first audit. I'm expected to audit even for periods I was not here. We are doing the audits. I am being, even though I'm a private entity, I'm unlike the other hospitals, I'm a private entity. Mom and pop, whatever you want.
What does private entity mean? What do you
Private entities, I am a for-profit entity, like a tenant or something. And despite that, I have been transparent and provided financials and all. You ask tenant for their financials, they're not giving it to you. You ask pipeline, they're not giving it to you till they've hit bankruptcy. I have been transparent because I want to make the service happen. And somebody else coming and managing it is not the answer. Because they are not for profit. As a for-profit, I pay sales tax on everything. I pay $9 million in property tax that none of the hospitals pay. I pay for, all of that, and I am taking care of more uninsured patients than most of the hospitals in the area. And they're getting large chunks of the safety net grants. I'm left with little leftovers,
So
which is fine.
You closed the doors on Friday. When did patients find out that the door?
Patients found out a week before. On that week is when we made a decision, when we did not, all our prayers were not answered. So we
they
did
found
not.
a week before?
No, on that Monday is when the decision was made.
So they found out Monday, the doors closed Friday.
Yes, we communicated with them, their loved ones, and we safely were able to transfer everybody out, even the one who has been here forever and a day. both of them.
IDPH was in here for a week for an inspection.
The whole week they've been here
And can
inspecting.
you release the results of that inspection?
They have asked us for a plan of correction, which we'll submit, and then it will
Well, could
become
we
official.
see what they want corrected?
Yeah, they do. They have cited us saying, "Hey, here is what happened." Just to be very transparent, the day before we closed, the agency suddenly, nursing agency suddenly realized, oh, they're closing. They pulled all the nurses from my ED one day prematurely. So I had doctors, I had technicians. I could not keep the ED running safely without that. So we informed IDPH, we informed the board, and then we said we are going to stop accepting
I'm
patients.
talking about the inspection.
I'm
they
talking
did.
about that, exactly.
Can we get the results of that inspection?
It's going to be available to everyone. We are still waiting on. Once we get it, we'll do that. But we
But
yes.
you said you've been given a plan of correction or
I
asked
have
for
to
a plan of
I have to provide a plan of correction
And what
because
were
that
the
is a
issues that
concern.
they raised?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So my ED closed one day before the whole hospital closed, even though I had a ED trained doctor on site for the whole duration. Second thing is that okay, that one patient who had been here for nobody wanted to take, the state refused, even though it's a state's responsibility. Their consulate refused, county refused. So my other thing is, why didn't you have a plan of placing him, a discharge plan? We've been trying for over 10 years to discharge him. So I said at that point, I don't have a plan, I'm working on it. And till such time that one last patient, by the way, this you should hear and make note of. For 2 days, when I just had one patient in house, I had everybody on call. I had my intensivist, interventional cardiologist, my ICU nurses, everybody was here till that patient left the building, and IDPH was here to follow them. So yes, but we have to submit.
I think you should make note on record. It's important when he asked the question about the corrective action, how much is that going to cost? Because it doesn't cost the
It's a
hospital.
plan. It's
It
a
doesn't
plan.
the repair anything.
Oh,
Yeah.
let's talk about repairs.
Yeah.
Well, let's stop for a second. I still don't have it clear in my head at all. Maybe I'm just, don't have enough coffee in me. But you are talking about having the results of the department assessment here, a week-long assessment. You have a copy of that?
Not yet. It is coming.
How do you know what you need to correct?
They told us they do an exit when they leave. So they told us about it.
And they have not given you a document yet?
Not a full document yet. I'm waiting.
They're giving you a partial document.
They told us something, and that's what I'm telling you, relaying to you.
So what are some
When you
examples?
get that
I give you the
document,
example.
Are you willing to
The two reason.
No, you didn't.
I just said, ED closed one day ahead of time because my nurses, they withdrew nurses.
Okay.
And the second thing is I did not have a plan of discharge for that one patient who's been here forever and a day.
Okay, so those are two examples.
Those are the two things that they told us that is a problem. I'm like, okay, but we did discharge that patient on time, and till that such time, I had doctors and everybody sitting here in house covering that one patient.
And I just want to clarify, is there an audit underway? There was a question about an investigation. Is there an audit underway about how things were handled, Representative?
I'm not
Flores,
sure
or
what
are you
audit would look
calling-
like.
Are you calling for something like that to happen? This is actually a question for
Oh,
Representative.
sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. We need to get the record straight. And so I think that the state, IDPH, and the HFS all are concerned. So they're in here meeting with the owner, Dr. Assad, with an audit ongoing.
What about CMS?
CMS, let me see what CMS, I have nothing from CMS on,
Centers for Medicare and Medicaid.
yeah, I have nothing from the feds on that. What about, right here, one before?
No, you keep talking about an infusion of cash, so the state doesn't have any, state's not gonna give money. The state can't write an emergency check or anything like that. You keep talking about an infusion of cash to save the hospital.
I think that in order for this hospital to open, I mean, there's got to be some cash. I mean, there's debt and obligations, and I think that's the only way the hospital opens.
But then where would that, is there anything from the state that could happen? 'Cause there's an emergency-
I think that the governor and the legislature definitely has a responsibility to work with a high-quality, competent leadership to make sure that this hospital provides care for this community.
And can we clarify the numbers on the debt, because you said, Dr. Prasad, that it's not the 71 million, it's only 48 for this hospital, but then there's another 60 million?
Okay, so my numbers for the debt, part of the debt here, and I'm glad that because this stuff will be public, and it gives you a chance to be ready, Dr. Assad. So there is an understanding that the outstanding debt owed to reopen the West Suburban Hospital as promised. Examples of current debt owed: 71 million owed to the state, 60 million owed to former hospital owner Pipeline Health, 50 million in current accounts payable, outstanding property taxes not paid, outstanding mortgage payments have been placed both on Weiss and West Suburban in the current foreclosure status.
So 7160 plus 50.
Right.
And the hospital doesn't have the mortgage, just to be clear.
Right, so let's make sure that if the hospital, so if this, we have to be straight, because in the foreclosure process, if this hospital goes to foreclosure, and if the taxes are lost, then your lease is going to, you're going to have some trouble, because we have to figure out, once it forecloses, what happens. So you have and should be concerned about if this property is foreclosed and if it's lost for taxes.
Yeah. And again, I mean, right now, the way we are operating, we have a 30-year lease. So, and we are compliant with that. So now the thing is that people, and again, people are having difficulty separating the property company, which has all the assets, and just us, the operating entity. We are two different entities completely. So from that perspective, we did guarantee that loan, and that is underway. And there's enough collateral to take care of that loan, by the way. So it should not come to the hospital. There's enough property. The property is worth, I'm told, about 150 million. So there is enough of that to take care of whatever that outstanding is. The second part of it is the state loan. We have, in fact, I believe there's legislation pending for all safety net hospitals to spread that out over 7 years. I'm absolutely fine with that. We can pay that from operations. So that's not of concern. And the property taxes, we have always paid it on time. This is the first year we are a little late, but this is current taxes. This is not old taxes. So that should not be going into a tax sale at any given time. So that's why.
Where did you get your medical degree?
Back in India. Okay. Why is that? No, I'm just trying to figure out what's that got to do with this.
Because I keep hearing from people saying they're not clear you have a medical degree.
Okay, I'll be.
If you could provide us, that would be great.
Or
absolutely.
Is it a doctorate in another line of?
I have both, actually.
You have both?
Yes, ma'am.
So you have a doctorate, a medical degree,
exactly.
and a doctorate in
yes, ma'am.
In what else?
And I practiced also. I'm family medicine by training.
What are the institutions that you got it from?
It's called MGM Medical College in India.
What city?
Are you currently licensed in the
No.
state?
I have not been practicing for almost 30 plus years.
What city, doctor?
Jamshedpur, India. Yes, I do. I've got all kinds of people. They've also called me the axe murderer. I don't know how I'm going to prove I was not the axe murderer. I was in London for a while. So maybe that's when the axe murders were happening. It's not me. So everything, all unsolved crime is going to be attributed to me.
How does the axe murderer connect with anything here?
I'm just saying.
Follow your...
You hear things. So that's the kind of stuff there is. You don't hear the fact that I risk everything to come here and try to save a community asset that nobody did. Not heard a word about that anywhere. Everything else seems to be coming up that, yeah, this is what he is, this is what he did. And of course. So by the way, the audits are ongoing. So there is no, thing about, I mean, I started the first audit. And that is why.
IDPH is here, and what was the other agency you mentioned?
HFS.
HFS.
That's state HFS.
Right.
Yes, state HFS. They are always, IDPH is always there. They monitor everything. Before we get to reopen, they'll be here to inspect you.
And how will people find out about these community meetings?
That's why I asked for this thing. And no, community will have to announce.
How will you announce it? How will people find out?
I don't know yet. I haven't gone that far.
I'm going to stay close and make sure that we work together to get community meetings. You're still committed to community meetings?
I will do it.
He will do it.
I've got a whole bunch of other priorities right now, is to make sure the billing happens and we can start doing that process, without which reopening and community meetings are going to be pointless.
Representative Ford, I just want to hear from you. The last hour or so, everything you've heard, what confidence do you have about this hospital reopening in July with the current leadership?
Well, I hear passion from Dr. Assad, but I still don't exactly hear where we're going to get the cash infusion to reopen the hospital. And so if I had to leave today and someone called me a patient saying that they are looking forward to the hospital opening in June or July, I would say Dr. Assad hasn't made the case that he could do it. He has a drive to do it, but I don't think that he has a clear guarantee to open the hospital by July. And I don't think, I mean, could you say you got a guarantee?
No. The thing is, we need cash infusion, but we have a path forward that we can open it without the cash infusion. Cash infusion would make it a whole lot easier.
Where would you get
But
cash infusion?
let me tell you this. When we opened, we didn't get a cash infusion for quite a while. And
From the state?
we didn't get anything from the state for a while. And then it was the kindness of the governor's office that we got that advance. But we were still operating without that because there is a way to operate the hospitals, and we have already proven that. We have a team that knows how to do this. Living on 10% is not an easy job, but they can. Now the state...
I just wanted to get some extra little numbers. So how many patients do you typically, we're typically seeing here in a year, in a week, in a month? How do you want to quantify it?
So we typically have 75 to 80 patients who come into our emergency department daily.
Okay.
We typically, I staff for about 75 to 80 beds at any given time, and they tend to remain full.
Okay, then that's daily.
Daily. Those are daily averages.
What about the clinics, like PCC Wellness? What about
They are still there, they're doing their work. Yeah,
still able
they're
to
doing
open?
their
Yeah, Doctor,
But West Sub clinics are closed.
West of clinics are
What about at
temporarily
Weiss?
closed.
Are clinics at Weiss still
Same.
open? They're closed?
They're closed
They were
at the
also
same
closed
time.
last week?
Yes.
Okay.
TCC can stay in the old ER.
They're there.
That's open-ended.
Yeah.
I know they're there now.
Yeah,
They can stay.
they're doing, we are not impacting anything excepting us.
so what exactly is open? I'm sorry, doctor. What is, because the hospital's closed, but it's open for...
There is a medical office building which has doctors' offices, that is open. PCC Wellness has their walk-in clinic, that is open.
Okay, but the rest, the normal functions of the hospital?
The normal
closed,
medical functions of the hospital are closed.
including the emergency?
Yes.
So 50 are working.
Okay, the last question.
Oh, no, just, we want to make sure we get all those numbers right, because you mentioned that 50 are currently working now. Yeah, there were a couple numbers thrown around.
I'm doing a mental math quickly, I would say about 550.
550 are furloughed?
I'm just doing a mental math quickly. From a 750, 100, take 137 out, and then there are some part-timers who don't come in. So I'd say about 500 plus are definitely.
500 plus are furloughed and 50 are currently working. Is that what you
50
said?
are currently
Okay.
The furloughed people can take unemployment?
Yes, they can. And we are providing them benefits too. Their benefits are continuing.
I thought that they could not file for unemployment
Yes, they can.
because they weren't laid off.
No, they are not laid off, but they are furloughed, they can file for unemployment.
I don't know if that's right.
We checked.
Representative Ford, is that right?
I'm not
We
sure.
checked.
Yeah, you know for a
There's a
fact
few
that
things,
they're
there's a few things
furloughed
I need to check.
because they're
of
not
what
getting
was heard
income.
today.
Yeah, they have no income coming in, so they are allowed to take the unemployment for a short duration, 6 months or something, I believe.
Is it COBRA benefits that they're
No,
getting?
this is pure benefits. I'm continuing with benefits.
And just to be super clear, so you own Resilience, Resilience owns the hospital, but Ramco owns the property.
Ramco owns the property, yeah, I'm the operating entity that owns the hospital.
And do they
operations.
also, does Ramco own Weiss?
Same, exactly, across the board. That and River Forest too.
State records show that Ramco owns 40% of the hospital itself, is that
Yeah, they, in order for them to recoup some monies, we gave them a 40% stake, silent only, no operational responsibilities, none of that. So yeah, that is absolutely.
So Resilience owns 60.
Yes, that is true.
You're making me do a lot of math today.
I'm sorry?
No, I was making a little joke. I said, you're making me do a lot of math today, so I just want to make sure I was correct, because there's been a lot of numbers.
Yeah, 60 and 40.
60 and 40.
That's 100% right
Got
there.
it.
100%.
That part I got.
That you got.
And the other numbers I have
Yeah.
questions about.
Well, I think that the doctor should have the final say is give the community some confidence.
Sure.
That would be great.
hey, we have done it once, we are about to do it again, and I have an amazing team that's with us that's doing it. So I have got full confidence that one way or the other, we'll be back to provide services. I mean, we've proven it. That's why I'm a little, we have an interruption, and that was, to me, an avoidable interruption, but it is interruption.
So what do you say to patients who are, whether this opens in July or not, what do you say to patients who are just, they're trying to get treatment, they're trying to get care, what do you say to them?
We will be back offering care. It is I know it's not easy for you to switch from one to the other. If they find good care, absolutely. But again, think about it. We are in their backyards. We are right here. Otherwise, the closest one that they can get care is a little ways away. I know Rush Oak Park is here, but I'm not sure all the patients are comfortable going there from what the patients say. I don't know. Maybe the capacity is not there.
Sir, do you
Capacity
have a CFO?
maybe. I'm sorry.
Sir, do you have a CFO?
We had a CFO, and we are currently finalizing a CFO. Yes.
If this hospital reopens, will the River Forest campus ever reopen?
Absolutely. Goes hand in hand.
And Dr.
And
Prasad,
whenever Vice, the whole appeal is done, later this year, Vice should reopen too.
Dr. Prasad, who should we stay in touch with? I know the media contact at Weiss, unfortunately, was part of a layoff. Who is contacting, like?
Who was the media?
That's what I heard, sorry, that was a year ago, maybe that's different. But
Yeah,
who
not
would
sure.
be best to stay in touch with?
We have that email, just use that email.
Which
that
email?
Comes, the website, we have a contact, we monitor it daily. And that's why I've got this going around. Please put your information there, any updates we have.
I'm not aware of that email. What is the email?
It's
For media
information ad
contact?
or something, yeah, there is something on the website.
Doctor, do you feel like you're wearing too many hats?
Oh, I'm wearing a whole lot more hats than I should want to. I've not had a chance to take a break in 3.5 years. It's not the right thing to do, but right now that's all there is. Given the financial tightness of our, what we can. I'd love to bring in a whole team to do it, and I'm working on it, but the thing is I have to be able to pay them. Again, I remind you, I know you guys just think it's a number and you think it's math. 10% of your revenue is all this hospital has been getting for one whole year. And that's, managing that is impossible. So, and trust me, not me wearing hats. I've got several people who wear many hats because we don't have an option. So yes, I would love nothing but better than to have a team work, and I can sort of lay back and relax and get some downtime.
Yeah.
But
well, I just want Leah to know that you can count on me. I'm not letting up.
Thank you.
And so I'll be in touch with the press to make sure things are moving along for patient safety in this hospital. So hopefully Dr. Assad continues to work with my office so that we can work together for patient safety and reopening the hospital. Thank you.
thank you all.
Oh, yes, Charlie. Oprah always talk on the internet and the phone. Yeah. Hey, how you doing?
How you doing?
How's the baby girl?
Oh, Junior.
My daughter's graduating.
Where's she at? Howard, okay, that's right. Good for you. Yeah.
Good luck. You can save your money.